Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build and another part of our Magnolia Promenade renovation or just complete redo. Today we are going to be doing the Bayou Recreation Center, and I thought that made a little bit of sense because I know that Willow Creek is kind of New Orleans inspired and Magnolia Promenade was supposed to be kind of an extension of Willow Creek, just not on the same map. So that is why I called this one a little bit of a different name. I was getting a little sick of the Magnolia this or Promenade this, so I changed it to Bayou Recreation Center. And this recreation center does not have a full gym. It does, however, have a very large pool. It's going to have a rock wall section with 2 different rock walls and also the skating rink. There's a little daycare center or childcare center upstairs, along with a little outdoor upper covered area. You'll see how it is, but it's very interesting, but it works perfectly. I did play test it with a couple of the families that I had that moved into the apartments right next door, so I got to play with them a little bit and also play test the entire building. And it worked out really nice. There's also a little art room. There's a music room. I was playing around with the shape for a really long time. I was trying to keep with the modern theme that I was going with for the apartment building. However, on the other side of the street for the thrift store and the cafe / free library, I'll probably go for more of a traditional route rather than the modern take that this side of the street is on. I thought that would be a nice way to kind of mix up the styles a little bit. Here you'll see I'm placing the rock walls, and I decided to make a nice big space here, like a mezzanine level, so that you could see over from the second floor down into the area where people were climbing up the rock wall. I thought that would be a fun touch, so I put in some windows in there. That little rainbow rug over there is going to be where the childcare section is. Obviously the piano is where the music room is going to be, and the art room is not actually here yet. It's where I'm putting up these platforms. The one longer rectangle platform ends up being the art room, but I hadn't decided yet if I was going to put an art room on here, so it's a whole separate thing. I thought I was going to maybe put the easels in with the music stuff, but then I thought it just looked a little silly and out of place, so had to create the music room and the art room separate. There's also a full kitchen and lots of dining tables available, so if your Sims just want to come here and their kids want to swim or do whatever and they just want to have something to eat, there's a full kitchen, and I think that works out really nicely. It's a good place to go if you're doing a rags to riches because it's going to have showers, it's going to have availability to make yourself food without having to buy appliances for your own lot. There's plenty of activities and skill building, so I think it's a nice little setup over here. And I did like this blue tone on these cabinets and countertops. A lot of the theme of the interior of this building ends up being kind of blue and yellow and bright colors, and then the rest of the walls end up being white. It's kind of a little bit, it's a little bit modern, it's a little bit fun, and I tried to just keep it really light and simple. I also tried not to overclutter too many of the areas. I didn't want it to be too hard to download or too big of a file for everybody. I wanted it to be very universal, and everybody can change it the way that they want to. If you want to add more clutter or if you want to have your sim kind of live here, they totally can. There is a twin bed in the children's area because I put like a little napping spot for toddlers and a child, so there is a bed that your sim can use if they really need to, and it's totally fine. Over here we also have a card and puzzle room. I thought this was fun. They can either play symbols or they can make puzzles or do whatever, so I thought that was a nice little addition as well. And I tried to use these doors that I normally don't like, that have like the blue glass on one side and the clear glass on the other. I just flipped it around because I thought the blue glass on the other side looked pretty nice and I didn't mind it so much. Also used these pillars from Lovestruck because they have a little bit of a glowy feature on them, and I thought that would be nice to light up the exterior of the building. And then in here we're working on where the doors are going to go, so I used this door from, I believe that one's from Get Famous, and then these windows are also from Get Famous in this blue tone. I think I use a mixture of windows from Get Famous and Growing Together because I think that the blue on those match really nicely, and I really wanted to lean into the blue and yellow and white on the outside as well. We're also adding a little keyboard, an electronic keyboard, into the music room, and a lot more of these violins and guitars. I was trying to figure out what else could go in here. I really wish we had more musical instruments. I don't know if that is going to be coming in an upcoming pack that may or may not have been leaked. I'm just not going to speculate on that because You know how these things are. I don't want to get anyone excited, but I thought that maybe if we had more instruments, they would have filled out that room quite nicely. Over here at the reception desk, I did a little cheat with this computer because I really wanted it to be on an island counter, but it wanted to face the other way, and that is not what I was going for. So I ended up using like a double counter. One's just sized down. I thought that made a lot of sense. And then I decided to work on the exterior a little bit because I was stumped on the interior, but we have a couple flower beds that are going to go in. This one right here in front of the window, it actually has a little bit of a covered space as well. So I thought that it just kind of looked nice. And then when I end up putting lights in here, everything's really nicely lit up. So put in some bushes and a little llama topiary and some little flowers and some little flower bushes. I just wanted to make it look really pretty. If you were looking from the inside to the outside, you had something to look at other than just the street view. And then up here is where I have decided to carve out some space for the art room. So this little space right here that I'm adding the roof to ends up being the art room. And it has easels. It has a lot of the stuff from the artist studio kit. I put a lot of those things in here. We have some sinks and some drawings on the wall. We have like the little cabinet up on the wall with the apron hanging on it, and also this unorganized paint cabinet, a little cart with like some palettes and stuff on it. I thought that was nice. Same door, I just reversed it so that it would fit nicely in here, and I believe I only end up keeping 3 easels, but there may be 4 if I don't remember correctly. This is a few days ago. My mind is a blur. I can't remember anything, but I used a lot of clutter from that kit as well because I just thought it filled out this room really nicely, and I wanted it to look used, so everything is covered in paint splatters. But now we're in the kids section, and I'm just pulling out a bunch of furniture at this point. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to put in here. I really wanted to use this kind of tent-looking fort thing that came with the little camper's kit, so I threw that in here. I do end up having to size it down with tool mod later because it was clipping into the roof, and it didn't look very nice from first-person view. It probably wouldn't have mattered because most people don't look at it from that view, but because I was taking screenshots, I noticed it, of course. There's also a little bookshelf. There's plenty of spaces to sit. We got little bear chairs. Inside the little tent, I put a lovely stand-up light from My First Pet Stuff, and then there's a rug from Little Camper's Kit I put in here. I also added a little like stuffy that came with one of the kits, the Storybook Nursery Kit, which I have not used yet in a build, so I'm very excited to use at least one item from that kit. I will probably be doing more with that later on, but that's one of the newer ones I added to my collection. And then we also have some art tables, and I put up the little art display that came with Growing Together to say like, here's where the kids at the daycare put up their artwork for their parents to see. And then over here you'll see this little rooftop space with the very large toddler playset. This whole space is going to be covered, and I'm also going to add a swing set and a set of monkey bars for the older kids because in my mind this is where they play. Now I don't know how practical this would be for real life. I don't think you'd want a set of monkey bars and a set of swings up here because it just seems a little dangerous to me. But in The Sims, it's okay because they can't fall off the walls. But I really was like, I don't know how practical this is, but I think it'll look really neat. And also they have a covered outdoor space to play if they want to swing on the swings. So I decided to just go for it. And then I jumped down here to the skating rink area. I didn't know how many windows to throw in because I was kind of going for the dark vibe with a lot of like neon lights. I also ended up using the disco ball from the Party Essentials kit because I really wanted to use a disco ball. It is very nostalgic for me, and we are in the Nostalgia Now season, which I have no idea what that means, but I guess we will find out tomorrow or the next day. We'll see how it goes. I have 0 expectations. I'm just gonna see what happens at this point because they are all over the place releasing kits and packs and announcements, and it's quite overwhelming. But over here you'll see outside of the skating rink we have a tiny little outdoor eating area, and I have a grill and some picnic tables. I also make another flower bed out front here, but I do end up expanding it a little bit. I pretty much copy this other one that is in the front as far as the flowers and the little bushes are concerned, but then I decided to move it out ever so slightly. It was a little too squished up against the wall and things were clipping inside, so that drove me crazy. I also did not add a topiary to this one because I didn't think it was necessary, but we have a little walkway going from the skating rink area all the way to the sidewalk and also to the caddy corner sidewalk because I wanted everyone to be able to get where they needed to be. And then I also put a little floor above the area area where you'll be grilling. And then I just placed these crystal clear little like floor window things that came with Island Living so that it would let some light in, but it would still be considered a covered space if your Sims were having a little cookout outside, that they would be protected from the rain and thunderstorms and such. So I thought that that would be important for gameplay purposes, and your Sims wouldn't be freaking out they were outside in the rain. And then I decided to start on the exterior wallpapering, and I went with a white block on the lower levels, and then up top here I used this blue kind of stucco texture, which I believe came with Get Famous as well. I really liked that blue. I was trying to really dive into that. And then these kind of weird upside down lights, as I call them, from Lovestruck, I threw them in here as well to go where the flower beds are, because I thought that it would look really nice to kind of up light everything. And then I decided to just put them everywhere because I liked how they made it really, really bright and shiny. So that was how we started with the exterior. Now we're going to be adding some landscaping just to get an idea of what we were doing here. But I did want to make sure there was a decent amount of landscaping, but it wasn't too overly manicured and crazy, because I don't think that they really care about the exterior. They're mostly concerned with what goes on inside and keeping the inside facilities maintained. We have lots of bushes, we have little low-lying flowers, and it's just pretty simple out there. Then over here, in the skating rink area, I used the rug from University and then this wallpaper that I think is base game. It's just kind of speckly. It's like a dark kind of greenish with speckles, but it's not black. I didn't want it to be completely blacked out because I thought that that would be a little much. And I also added some nice tall windows, which I then covered with these dine out curtains in a blue because I wanted to keep with the theme. I didn't want it completely blacked out just because I thought it would be too much if it was all black. But I did want it to have that feel that at nighttime it's like all glowy and sparkly with the disco ball, and it's really fun. So I used a bunch of different packs, neon signs. I just typed in neon and went for it, and I moved them all over the place, and I lined them up in certain ways that I just thought made sense. So there's some from Lovestruck. I believe there are some from Moschino stuff. There's some from Party Essentials. There might be one from the new Comfy Gamer kit from Lil Simsy, and then there's a lovely plant right here in the middle, just because it's fun, and I wanted to throw in some other kind of accessories in this room. Also a wall mural, because why not? And then we are in the card and puzzle room, I guess the game room, if you want to call it that. We have a lot of these tables that came with Growing Together, and also the chairs. And I just kept the wallpaper very simple. I also changed the tables to a yellow to kind of break up all of the blue in this room. And then I added this lovely little shelf here that came with Growing Together, I believe, or High School Years. I'm not 100% sure. But I put some puzzles and little games and stuff, just mostly clutter. Like, you can't really use them. I put them all over that shelf. I also added this wall sign outside of that room because I wanted to make sure everybody knew this is where the puzzles are, and I tried to use that sign everywhere that I could, that where it made sense. Unfortunately, there's only a few on there. There's like one for a gym, one for a library, one for the puzzle room, and then another one for something else that I totally forget. But I tried to label all the rooms as best I could so that you could tell which room was what. And then outside the daycare, I just put a little wall mural so you could tell that's where the kids go. And then over here in the pool, we're jumping around a lot because I was all over the place with this one. I apologize, but it was a very large build and I was trying to do my best. As far as windows were concerned, I wanted it to be well lit. I wanted it to have everything that you would need if you were coming here except a gym, because I think there's enough gyms in this game that I didn't need to throw in more gym equipment. I wanted to put more fun equipment that you might not see anywhere else, hence the rock climbing wall and the very large indoor pool. We have some diving boards. We have a lovely set of benches and towels. We have all kinds of stuff in here. And then I also decorated the interior of the pool with all of these lights. And I used the tile on the walls and flooring from Lovestruck because I think that they're really pretty. And I haven't gotten really a chance to use them yet. They're kind of busy, and I don't really use them in bathrooms. So I thought that under the water it would translate a little bit better. And then I also threw in some lanes, some swimming lanes, because I thought that that made sense. And some, little tiny bits on the bottom of the pool, like little drains and such. There's also a pool trim, also from Lovestruck, and then the rest of the floor is just this lovely plain blue tile. And I also keep repeating this same ceiling light over and over again. This one is from High School Years. I think it's very nice and it sizes down really well. So I used it in pretty much all of the rooms. in this build, and also these wall lights from Growing Together in a very simple white finish. And then of course over here next to these benches I put a little stack of magazines. Those are from the Casanova Cave kit, I think, and they are just for the parents who are sitting waiting for their kids to get done with swim lessons. There's something to read. I also put some lockers out here right on the pool deck because I thought that was convenient, but there's also a locker room where there are showers and bathrooms here for your sim so that they can get cleaned up when they're done in the pool, or maybe if they want to shower before they go into the pool. I thought that was a nice option. All the bathrooms are pretty much set up the same, so this is probably the only bathroom I'm going to show to be built to completion. But we have the tiny living toilets, and then the sinks are from Dream Home Decorator. And then I added a lovely long window that came with spa day above where the toilets are because I thought that would let in a little bit of light, but it's also very private. Same tile, just a different swatch from Lovestruck. The one in the bathroom is blue, obviously, and then all the floor tile is white. I wanted it to be really simple. Here I am sizing down this light again from high school years for these bathrooms. And then I end up cluttering them up, of course, with all of the bathroom clutter stuff. I also throw in some towels from Spa Day just hanging on the wall because I thought that made a lot of sense. There's also dividers in between every shower, so everybody has some privacy. And then on the wall we have toilet paper rolls, we have our plunger set, we have the soap pumps, which I think I actually used the soap pump from Snowy Escape, and I mount it to the wall because there's really no place to set it. There's no slot on these sinks themselves. So I thought having the little wall mounted soap would be fine, and also some wall mounted paper towel dispensers and trash can in each bathroom because why not? I tried to make sure that there was enough trash cans throughout, that your Sims weren't constantly leaving dirty dishes everywhere, but we know they're going to anyway. Now up here in the front reception desk area, we have this basket of towels and such going on the counter, and I thought that made a lot of sense. We also have another magazine on the counter, and then I added another one of these lovely blue benches, and then I think above that there ends up being a bulletin board and a poster in a little bit, but I'm trying to remember all the clutter I used. Also just a simple plant in the corner. I believe that one's from Lovestruck. I'm not sure where that rug is from. I'm pretty sure it's Base Game or it's from Seasons or one of those early packs, but I was just throwing everything around here so quickly I couldn't even tell where they were coming from. And then of course this lovely Moschino stuff pack wallpaper is pretty much everywhere. It's just kind of in bits and pieces. I tried to break it up with some white wallpaper as well. Where the rock wall is, I put some flooring down that looks like kind of foam tile because I thought that made sense, and I think it looks really, really nice in there. So also another wall mural in here where the pool is, and I didn't show you, but I put some wall speakers up on either side of this mural because I thought it would be nice to have music in here. We also add some blinds so you can pull those down if it's too sunny, and then we have more of these lockers out here in the hallway because maybe you want to put your stuff down before you go in the pool. You don't want to put it in the pool locker room. And then just some adornments for the wall and some plants because I needed to fill up all the space. Now we are placing all of these board games and puzzles and such on these shelves, and I had to use Toolmod to kind of move things around a little bit, but I think it makes a lot of sense. I also used the matching end table just to change up the height of things in this room. It was all kind of one height, and I just wanted it to be a little bit more dynamic. And then we are also adding some curtains from Desert Luxe Kit to help with the sunlight in this room. I imagine it would get very warm in here. There's lots of direct sunlight. And then over here, we're just adding a little plant in the corner to fill up some more space. And I think that's pretty much it for that room. You'll see that later on. Up here where the playground is, I'm adding some hopscotch and a little boombox from the Little Campers kit because I thought that was fun. Also, the wallpaper from Parenthood, and then there's a toy box in here as well because I realized there was no toy box. I also put in a little block table for the kids to play with their blocks because I thought that was a good addition to the room. And over here is just a very quick view of the napping room for the kids that maybe get a little sleepy and want to take a nap. There's 2 toddler beds, and then I put in 1 single bed for whomever wants to take a nap. It could be a child, it could be your sim who's playing rags to riches and just wants to sleep in a real bed for once. Who knows? Not up to me to decide. You do you. And then in here we have some crafts going up on the wall. These are from Debug and Live Edit Menu, so those are the ones that your kids can actually make in the game. And then I'm putting up some stuff that came with the Parenthood pack. More debug stuff from Growing Together. Those are like the school drawings your kids come home with from school. And then also a little wall shelf with some pegs. That came from Eco Lifestyle. And I'm taking 2 backpacks and I'm going to raise one up onto one of the pegs using Tool Mod ever so slightly to get the backpack to look like it's just hanging off the peg. I thought it was also a nice idea to throw in some lunch boxes, so I grabbed this one that came with an update, oh, I don't even know, maybe like a couple years ago, and then also this base game lunchbox over here, and I also used Tool Mod to adjust the height of that, so it looks like it's sitting right on the shelf, and I think that makes a lot of sense, that maybe kids come here after school to hang out, like an after school program, and they need to bring their bags here from school. I don't know. Makes sense to me. Over here I have adjusted the size of this tent and I'm just moving things around so that they fit nicely in there, but my kids could use that. They did go in there and they sat down, they played with the stuffy, and they read a book. It works just fine, just a little bit sized down. And then in here we have the art room finishing up, coming together. The wallpaper is from the Basement Treasures kit, so it's a little bit worn down. Also pulled out this rug from City Living that has like the paint splotches on it, and also some newspaper from Cats and Dogs because I thought that made sense as well, and some more adornments for the wall. But that room is pretty much done. Now we're out in the hallway. We've added a little rug in front of the child care room and some more benches just to fill up that space. Out here we have some bookshelves. I wanted to have a spot where I could like put a couple toys or some crafts that the kids did, and like a little sign-in book or something. Maybe that's where the kids sign in when they're going there for their after-school program, so everyone knows who's in attendance. And then I threw in this lovely tall table with chairs from Tiny Living. I really enjoy that one, so I throw that table and chair set all over the place. You'll see them on the front and back patios. And then in here we are changing up the kitchen a little bit, adding some windows. We're adding some clutter to the countertop and also a little drinks tray over to the far right side, and then some utensils and the range hood, some pots and pans I believe I put on the wall as well. I just wanted it to look functional but not overly cramped, like it's a family home kitchen. I wanted it to look like a functional recreation center kitchen, if that makes sense. We also have a little coffee and tea area over here with the same countertops and upper head cabinets. I just use the kettle that we got from, I believe that one came with For Rent in the blue tone, and then like the unlockable coffee pot that comes with the Tech Guru career, I'm pretty sure. Also threw those mugs down, and also this little selection of tea that came with Get Together, because I thought that made a lot of sense to have near the communal coffee pot and tea center. And then over here I decided I wanted a couple more countertops, so I threw in these just around the corner, and that is where I set up our little pastry section. So I pulled out a bunch of different things to go on that countertop to make sense. In the music room though, we're going to go there first. We have some lovely siding that came with Growing Together. To me it kind of looks like soundproof paneling, so I thought that would work well in here. I also wanted to throw in a little couch in case anyone wanted to just sit in on music lessons and listen to their kids play or listen to their friend perform. I thought that would be a nice touch. I also added a microphone from High School Years because I really like the look of this one. It's a little bit more realistic. The other one that we have in the game is kind of wavy looking. It just doesn't look real to me, so I don't really use that one very often. Also added more lighting from Growing Together, a little rug from High School Years, and some of these records up on the wall, this like record artwork. I thought they looked really, really fun, so I threw those up. Also a guitar poster, and then I believe I used one of the jazz posters here and with the lovely silver frame. And that's pretty much it for this room. It's very simple. Out here in the hallway, we're adding this iguana on the wall just for kicks, just because it looks cool. Here's another bathroom upstairs. And at first it was going to be like a larger bathroom, but I didn't like the way that was looking, so I kind of cut it in half. And what we have instead is going to be a little section just outside the bathroom that has a shelf that you can keep all of the extra toilet paper storage on, and maybe some other little decorations, or if you have like hand sanitizer or something you want to put there for everybody to use. I thought that made a little bit more sense. So it's kind of cut off from the kitchen. It's slightly behind a wall, but it's not behind a closed door. It's a little bit more inviting. Here I am moving all of the toilet paper rolls around so that I could position them with move objects just the way that I wanted to, and it took me a very long time, but I think it was worth it because it makes sense to me. this is where they would keep their extra toilet paper rolls for the guests to be able to use. Now we're at the pastry counter, which is my favorite. So we have some cupcakes and muffins. We have some fruit cake. We have a bunch of plates. Maybe you go get your coffee, you get a slice of fruit cake, you call it a day. I think that makes sense to me. And then, of course, more plants because there were empty spaces and I just could not have that. Now we're going to be placing some more of these tables out on this upper deck space. I just thought it was really nice, made the center look very inviting, like, hey, look, there's people up there eating. Maybe we should go visit. I thought it gets people in there. That's my whole assumption with this. And then I wanted a little bit more decoration out here in the front, so I used some slats that came with, I believe, Eco Lifestyle. These are the really tall ones that clip to the wall. And then I just extended the pillars up to give it a little more dimension. Out here on the back patio, we're not going to show very much, but I'm adding a telescope. We have some more plants. I also end up adding a dining table. You'll see there's a foosball table over in the left corner. And then I believe I just end up keeping this the way it is. I add a little bit of outdoor lighting, but I just keep it really simple and let your Sims do what they want. That's a very multi-purpose area. Maybe you just want to sit on the bench and look up at the stars, because all of my Sims couples like to sit out there no matter what I was doing. There was always couples sitting out on those back benches just like looking up at the sky, stargazing or cloud gazing together. Here's a little bit more of our landscaping, just very simple in the back. I just wanted to look kind of nice from back here, even though you probably will never be back here. It's just nice to have all of the landscaping done. So I add more of these bushes that I had in the front, and I just put them all around the side of the building. And I believe I also add some more trees here. I thought that was nice. I did change their position a little bit so they weren't clipping into the roofs, and they also look like they kind of form an arch ever so slightly. So I enjoy that. And then some more bushes. It's very simple. I didn't want to overly do it with the landscaping, so I hope that you enjoyed that. Also, I put a little decorative circular flower garden here in the front, and there ends up being some lighting in there. It's very fun. I'm pretty much coming to the end of the build, so next I still have to do the thrift store and the free library / cafe. I would love to hear from you guys which one you'd like to see next, because this is the one that won our last poll, and I might put up another one just because. But that is it for our Bayou Recreation Center. It came together pretty quickly considering how large it was. It only took me a couple days, so only took me like 4 build sessions, not too bad. And I'm really glad that I got to play test it with my Sims from the apartment building, because it gave me a little time to get to know them a little bit better. I really hope that you enjoyed this one. Let me know which one of the series you'd like to see next, or if there's any other builds you have in mind with the new kits that have just come out, considering we've had 5 the last couple weeks and I really haven't touched many of them. Well, speaking of which, there's Don Lothario. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.